Good evening and welcome to the Park Board of Commissioners. It is Thursday, October 26, 2023. Can I please have a roll call?
Okay. President Waltz will be joining us shortly. Commissioner Biedke,
Here?
Commissioner Carlson,
Here.
Commissioner Cook,
Here.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Here.
Okay, thank you so much. Can I please have approval of minutes for September 21st, 2023 for the Pavilion Committee meeting, for September 26, 2023 for the golf meeting, and September 28, 2023 for the regular meeting? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
5-0, thank you. I'm now turning it over to
Thank you.
President Walls.
Where was it?
For right here.
Public communication. Oh, just in time. Do we have any comments from the audience?
Mr. President, with all due regard, I regret not having any comments to provide this evening. Thank you.
That's all right, Alan. Good to see you. Any others?
Yes, if we
Just
can.
come on up to the microphone. Absolutely.
Thank you. So this is about the Windermere Park.
Mhm.
Can I speak about that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we live directly behind it. And I'm a little unhappy that the Park District didn't notify us that they were building this giant park behind our house, less than 40 feet from my home. There's a giant slide. It's enormous. And from every window of my house, I can see this. It's disturbing. I'm sure it's gonna affect my property value. And we didn't get a neighborhood meeting. We didn't get any letters. There was maybe a three-sentence paragraph in the Elk Grove News that said you were going to update the equipment, but nothing else. And then we got a card in the mail that said, what would we like for equipment? Well, that doesn't affect me. I let the neighborhood decide what equipment they were gonna get. But no one sent us plans, and we called when suddenly, I guess the last week of September, tractors showed up. And we're like, really? So we called, and they said, oh, aren't the plans on our website? And I'm like, no, what plans? So then 2 weeks later, the plans showed up, and we had a call that said, oh, the plans are out there, but they really weren't out there. I had to dig for the plans from the contractors. And then finally, they showed up on the website. I'm disturbed by this. I've been living in Elk Grove for 35 years. The last park we had was a neighborhood meeting to discuss what we wanted and how big it was gonna be. This is 40 feet from my house. I have a picture. Would you like to see it?
No, we're familiar with that. But-
It's crazy.
Well, I will tell you this, and then we'll try to get some more information tonight. And then if there's any follow-up, just leave an email address or however you want to be
And I will say
contacted.
this, that I did call, and Mark did come out, but I asked him, you have 13 acres. Why didn't you go farther back? And he said, well, because of the soccer teams. And I'm like, so the soccer teams are more important than the residents?
Well, I will say this, I'll start, and I'm sure if anybody wants to come in after I'm done, we can, and then we'll talk about how things were conveyed to that resident area. For years, we've had huge demand on changing Windermere Park. There are a lot of kids in that neighborhood. We've discussed it, I don't know how many years. We also felt since the soccer field, and I believe there's some baseball fields over there, correct? They get a ton of use. And what we find is when teams come in, little brothers and sisters have something to do. So that's why we decided to grow that park this year. And that discussion went on for 2 years. That was something that we discussed on, we talked about at committee of the holes, we talked about on air. So as far as your property value, none of us sitting here can tell you what your property value is going to say because none of us are in the business. But I will tell you, it won't go down, in my opinion. No matter what type of home you have, a park that's going to be this nice will not decrease your value. Now, maybe somebody in staff can talk to, Ben, you can talk to how we alerted the neighborhood and kind of that process, because I don't know that we've done anything like that we haven't contacted the neighbors.
Yeah, we, like Cynthia said, we had sent out a survey asking for input of how the design would be.
Mhm.
We did not send out a final plan of what it was gonna be. Like Cynthia said there, she's correct. There was no update on what the design was. It was more
Which
just,
we normally.
we took the information from the residents and we designed something and then we started construction.
Now, whenever we do a park renovation, whenever we do any project, we always contact the neighbors. What, if you're backing up to the park, you had to be on that list, right?
No,
But no, I understand you didn't get it, but I'm saying they had to have been on the list.
No, well, they were on the list for the survey, for
Okay.
what, for the conceptual design of what that was gonna be. So there was no, once we had the consensus of that, we never followed up with the residents in terms of, this is what we're gonna do moving forward.
Final plans, but you're saying that most of the neighborhood got a conceptual plan?
Not a conceptual plan, it was just a survey for what they would like to see in the park.
a postcard, a Google postcard that said, go out here and let us know what kind of equipment you would like in the park.
Can I ask you a question? What's a Google postcard? Because I honestly don't know.
It's a postcard like this.
Was it
that-
mailed or emailed?
Mailed.
Okay.
And it says, go out here on this website, which is Google,
Mm-hmm.
and then let us know what kind of equipment you would like in the park.
So we're asking for an online survey, because I know we go out for surveys, but in years past, we've had a date set for the meeting for residents to come into the building and see conceptual designs.
Correct.
But that was not it. This was a go online and tell us your feedback.
Well, let us know what kind of equipment. There's
Yeah,
a
okay.
list of equipment.
I just want to make sure I know what you received.
Playground
Yeah, you can,
equipment.
yeah. Okay.
She worked 25, 30 years in IT, okay? We're technologically savvy, okay? Imagine if you're not. Imagine if we were old people and, you know, did you ever go to a store now with digital coupons? It's craziness, okay? So we know what to look for and I'm telling you, we didn't get anything. So that's where the concern is. Is there a possibility if you come in, you gotta understand that the people across the street, they're 150 feet away from this. I'm 50, 60 feet from it, okay? So imagine that when the kids come down that big slide, it's right in my window.
Yeah, both openings face us.
I gotta tell you something, I've lived there for 34 years, the soccer guys that visit have been immaculate and wonderful. I know that they let us steam and they swear, they almost never get in a fight. It's been wonderful. It's been absolutely wonderful. They pick up every bottle cap, everything. It's been wonderful. Sunday morning, 9:30, for 3 hours, they have the soccer games. Everything's perfect. But when you have kids coming down that slide, they're gonna come off that slide and scream right in our faces.
And you have the zip lining right by our house.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
There's a
Zip
zip
line?
line. Right there. I mean, it's crazy. Because if you have a baby and you put all my windows to my house face the park.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have a baby, I sell my house to someone with a child and they're trying to put them in that room to be quiet, to have a nap. It's not gonna happen because at 6:30 this morning, I heard beep, 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 beep. That's the tractors.
Yeah, that's the construction.
Right. If I can hear that, what do you think
So
people are gonna hear?
for many years, okay, I'm the guy that would call politely and you guys jumped on it. I would say, can someone just please oil the swing? Right? Okay, and you guys have been wonderful, no problem. I like to think of solutions. Is it possible, and that's why we wanted to come here, because we didn't know of any other way, to have where the kids come out of the slide, point in a different direction, can they turn that around? Okay, because kids it's gonna be loud, and I don't think you want something screaming, 40 feet from here constantly in the morning.
Can you do me a favor, and you can keep going, but it's just a thought. Can you please leave your address
Yeah,
with one of us? Because
Sure.
we can go back and look at the plans, and at least I can know what house you are. And you don't have to say it on air, obviously.
no, that's fine. And there's only, you gotta understand, there's only 3 houses this could possibly affect, because everybody else is across the street or on the other side of the
I
park.
think where you're at,
Yeah.
Okay.
With a
And,
small house.
and the slide is taller than my house, so what happens when someone's in there? They can see right into my windows, my bedroom windows. This is,
I mean, at least, and that was where I was going, if nothing comes out of this, can we at least have some tall bushes, something to block?
That was a
I don't
question from one of our
I don't think
commissioners.
it's out of the question, you know,
No.
to do something to at least block that.
Well, what is the design? Because we do create buffers on a lot of our areas, you know, at a lot of our parks. So what is the actual design for a buffer between our playground and a residential house? Do
So
do
far,
we have
it's
right
not.
now, Mark?
Right now, it's just the design for the playground. So when I met Cynthia out on site, I had made that suggestion of, is there an opportunity for us to put landscaping in there to create a buffer in between?
you said you would consider it, that's where your word.
Well, yeah, I mean, once the playground is in place, then let's take a look and see how we can design it so that we can mitigate any potential problems.
Yeah.
Well,
At
we're
least
kind
for
of
signs.
doing that at Chelmsford, and we have done that at a lot of parks. So I guess what I'm saying is, how did we kind of miss that it actually wasn't in the design stage anyway? Were we watching the money, or you were waiting for the completion? Because normally we really do create buffers at so many places.
Can I show you this? I mean, this is your plan, and I can show you where my house is.
I can probably guess
Well,
where your
well,
house is. I've got.
What I'll do is I'll pull up the plan, I'll PDF it to the commissioners, and I'll highlight where your house is if you just leave your address. That way we have something on their email they can take a peek at.
I'll just say, if we can add some buffer, we can meet with you and discuss that for sure. As far as communicating playgrounds, we've gone to the online because we used to have, I've been here 12 years, we used to have in person, nobody would show up. And so we even heard from somebody that said, and one of them, why don't you do online, because no one's going to show up to these. And so we started doing, we got a lot of good feedback from people doing it the online way. And so that's why we've stuck with that process. So completely being sensitive to what you're saying, I think we could probably do some sort of buffer that'll help screen you from the playground.
At
That's
least visually, for sure.
Yeah, because I
Absolutely.
mean,
I mean, I don't expect you to build a wall.
no.
And this is your back property, not the side property, right? Your
Oh,
house
this
is
is the back,
right
yeah.
to the back.
Totally
Okay.
in the back.
So there's 3 houses, and you see when you go there, Mark's familiar with them now, that, you know, like our one neighbor works for the village of Willowbrook next
Right.
door, and he's like, I don't know anything about it, but he works late, so he couldn't come here tonight. So,
And we asked all of our neighbors, did you get anything? Was there a meeting? They said, well, for the last park, there was a neighborhood meeting. We all went to it. You know, when you're putting a park that there are homes off that park directly, and you came this far close, I mean, you could have gone that way, you could have gone that way, but you came this far
toward the houses.
toward the houses, you would think that we would have been somewhat consulted, you know, or not even consulted, our input would have been valued at this point. I mean, just to have tractors show up one day is like astonishing to me. And it's not like you're just changing the equipment, it's a lot bigger.
No, it's a total renovation.
Yeah.
I don't even want to call it renovation, it's new construction.
It is,
There's no question about that.
yes.
Does
And
Mark
even though
have-
some of it is detrimental to you, I'm gonna stay with the fact that I love bigger, just so you know. I was one of the people that voted bigger because the demographics are changing, and we do get a lot of people requesting that some of our playgrounds become a little bit more interactive, hit some different age groups, and when you're doing all this design sage for mulch and concrete and engineering, the easiest thing for us to do is add some additional play equipment, because that's what the kids are going there for. You know, we debated on even how much to put there, and we'd still made it bigger, because we have this debate that, hey, you guys pay Schaumburg Park District taxes, we pay Elk Grove taxes, and we still decided, but they're Elk Grove residents, so let's make it as good as nice as a park as we can, because you're Elk Grove Village residents. So we're in the belief, our intent is to make the parks, sometimes bigger does make better, but certainly more equipment, more assets at the park, in my opinion, make it a better park. Sometimes it is to the detriment of people that live close by. If we can come up with a solution, that's great. but I can't let you think that I'm not in favor of a bigger park, because I'm personally in favor of a bigger park.
No question.
I know, I'm just
don't
saying.
mind a bigger park. You have 13 acres.
Right.
Why would you back up to someone's home like that?
Well, Mark has your address,
Yeah.
right?
Huh?
And do you have their email address?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Okay. I will get back to you, but it might be a week or two until I kind of
I'm
gather some
in no
facts.
hurry because that park is going nowhere.
But you,
What-
that's a
that-
fair statement.
When, I moved here in September of '88. When was the park, Windermere built, do you know?
Not much prior to that. It's
Right,
not,
it was the-
it's not one of our old.
It didn't have the basketball court yet.
My
It had
kids
the-
were playing there in the early 90s,
Correct.
so I would assume that the Park District, Schaumburg, we got the land as part of the development like we always did. I would have to think it's mid-80s, early
Yeah.
80s.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was a field and then there was like a little swing set or whatever. And then when they put in the park you just took down,
Mhm.
there was a neighborhood meeting, which a lot of us showed up for.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny what you're saying, because I've come to those meetings before, and to Ben's point, the 2 or 3 that I've ever been to, 5, maybe 4, 6 people, or even let's say addresses showed up. So, are you really truly getting a view of what that neighborhood wants with 4 people?
No.
No. So, I think that's why staff said, hey, we probably should go to this online stuff. That's all over topic for me, but.
The reason why I asked that is because I moved in after the park was built. That was my decision to buy this house, okay? And if I did show up to meetings where I was notified, when they put in the, I don't know what you call it, those blocks in the middle of the park where the kids do the skateboard stuff, okay? You can't fence off a park. So guess what happens at 3 in the morning? You hear kids out there playing basketball, doing the skateboarding and making noise.
Police.
That's my, I get that. But I made a decision to move there. I'm very acceptant to that. This, where the slide, the entrances where the kids come down the slide points right at mine. So you're gonna have screaming boys and girls constantly in the morning, in your face. This-
Well, I can guarantee you one thing. Mark, staff, board, we will support screening on that, and you'll have great input on it, no question. That's something that's gonna take a little more.
That's why we wanted to keep, if we were
Detail.
notified, we
No.
would have said, hey,
I
let's
understand.
send it this way.
Yeah, plus the zip lining comes right from the slide, right across where, I mean, even closer. It's all the equipment.
I cannot guarantee anything on that regard, but other than the fact that we can definitely look at it, and we'll see where the chips fall. But the screening's not an issue. We will work with you on that, and quite frankly, the other 2 neighbors as well.
Yeah, the young man who just bought the house 2 years ago, his deck is higher and he has a pool. Now he has this giant slide steering into his backyard. He even put up a fence because he said the children were cutting through his yard. It was annoying him to get to the park. I have no way to put up a fence because I have trees on this side
Right.
and a fence on this side. I'd be on the easement,
We will take a look at this.
okay?
Give me a week, just because there's plenty of people that have to kind of weigh in, and I'll get back to you via email.
I appreciate you hearing us.
And then on my email, I'll give you my cell phone, and if you want to talk directly, we can, or,
What do we see?
you've got all the
I-
information.
I have your
Your information.
your contact
And
information,
if-
so I can relay that to
If
John.
Mark goes out there again, and I can, and I do have somewhat of flexible, I'll go with him so that I can report back to the board what I heard. Not that Mark can't tell us, but we'd have no problems. I'd have no problems doing that.
Yeah, I just sent him a picture of the slide and I said, this is from my bedroom window. This is what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
But what you haven't heard is the screaming kids.
yeah, and you won't until it's done.
Right.
So, we'll get back to you, I
All
promise.
right, I appreciate it.
Not a problem,
very
thank you.
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
Oh, that's right, all right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
for
welcome,
hearing.
thanks for coming.
Make sure you put your contact information on the sheet.
I will.
Thank you.
We're at correspondence. Any correspondence, commissioner or staff? Hearing, seeing none. I have a recommendation for acceptance of approval. This is the approval of athletic board members. I move that this individual be appointed to serve a 2-year term as an advisory member to the football board. excuse me, where did I see football?
It's soft.
Elk Grove Girls Softball Board, and that would be Tim Gleason. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Biedke?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Waltz?
Yes. Second, I need approval of payment application number 2 for Chicagoland Paving Contractors of Lake Zurich, Illinois, for the Pavilion Tennis Court renovation in the amount of $52,620.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Biedke?
Yes.
President Waltz?
Yes. We're to approval of payment application from Innovation Landscape, Inc. of Plainfield, Illinois for the Windermere Park Playground in the amount of $36,699.30.
Yeah, you wait for him to leave and then you ask for it. So moved.
I didn't even see that.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Biedke?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
President Waltz?
Yes. We're gonna skip, if you were following our agenda, we're gonna skip D because there's been some changes prior to the meeting.
Table it?
Yep.
Table.
So E is in Edward, approval of payment application number 2 from Hacienda Landscaping, Inc. of Manuka, Illinois for the Marshall Park redevelopment project in the amount of $219,567.48.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Biedke?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Waltz?
Yes. We're moving to committee reports, capital projects, Commissioner Cook.
Yes, we met tonight at 5 o'clock, Capital Committee, to discuss the 2024 capital project budget and items. For the year 2024, we're projecting, or recommending, staff recommended $5,963,904 in total capital expenditures, which was approved and discussed. And we're tabling the discussion on the levy until after the meeting. So that was all that we discussed. Any other questions or anything I missed?
Committee the whole minutes from the last meeting. Thank you, Commissioner Cook.
We didn't have, that's right.
Any questions for Tom?
Okay.
Finance Committee, Commissioner Carlson.
Brad, you want me to go over this?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. All right, well, Cook County has announced property tax bills will be available online by November 1st with a due date of December 1st. This will delay collections. Finance will continue to monitor cash flow projections. The delay has impacted year-to-date numbers significantly. In the corporate fund, no property tax collected in September. All expense categories are at or under budget except unemployment insurance. Year-to-date of $1,248,884 compared to a budget of $3,281,942. The recreation fund, no property tax collected in September. Fees and admissions, $2,108,285 compared to a budget of $1,830,978. Program fees were $1,844,438 compared to a budget of $1,944,270. All expense categories near or under budget. Year-to-date of $201,922 compared to a budget of $786,304. In the golf fund, 7,086 rounds played in August. This is the most in any month dating back to 2007. Fees and admissions, $1,326,346 compared to a budget of $1,092,895. All expense categories are at or under budget year to date. Driving range year-to-date of $142,321 compared to a budget of $116,308. Year-to-date of $854,981 compared to a budget of $416,981. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Scott. Commissioner Carlson, any comments or questions for Scott? Hearing none. Golf Course Committee, Commissioner O'Malley. I do that every time.
Commissioner Carlson, Athletic Committee?
No, I'm sorry, Committee of the Whole is me.
Yeah.
I apologize. See, damn readers. We did not have a Committee of the Whole last meeting. And this meeting was spent entirely on our capital projects to be approved or possibly be approved for next year's budget. Did I miss anything on that? Okay. Now we can go to Athletic Committee for Commissioner Carlson.
And I'm going to defer to Tiffany when she has her report.
Fair enough. We'll see that in a little bit. We'd be efficient. Golf Course Committee, Commissioner O'Malley.
The Golf Course Committee met on September 26th, and following that, I gave an update at our last board meeting in September. We have not met since, so we'll probably schedule something first couple weeks of December. That's it.
Any questions, comments for Bill? Youth Committee, Commissioner Biedke.
No report.
Adult Center Committee, Commissioner Cook.
I have no report.
What in the world? We're on a roll. The newly, never mind. Pavilion Committee, Commissioner O'Malley.
Same thing, we met the last couple weeks of September. We've not had a meeting since, so there's nothing new to report. We'll try to schedule, Tom Cook and myself are on that committee. We'll try to schedule something the first couple weeks of December. That's it.
Let's be a while. Items for information, we're gonna do leisure services, Tiffany.
Awesome. Okay, so the Sheila Ray Adult Center was at 302 members. Last month was a really busy month for them. They had the rummage sale, they had their dancing with the band, and they had 50 attendees at that. Their famous fish boil trip attracted 37 participants. They had a fall luncheon that had 88 attendees, and they also had 26 members travel to the Pabst Mansion, where they also enjoyed lunch. Aquatics, we filled our preschool swim lessons for the month of September with a total of 40 participants in those. Private lessons were at 42, parent-child lessons at 25, youth at 166, and adult lessons at 10. Aqua Wellness numbers were at 1,033 for the month, which is up from last year. Last year they were at 878. For adult athletics, all the senior softball leagues are done now. The men's league had 5 teams for the fall season 1, and then they are up to 12 teams now for the fall session 2. So that league is really taken off. The September pickleball clinic for beginners was filled with 16 adults. There are 8 in the current intermediate clinic. And like I discussed earlier, they're looking at adding that advanced beginner. For the Wednesday Adult Bags Leagues, there are 51 teams for the fall season. That's the most teams we've ever had, 33 competitive teams and 18 rec teams. For youth athletics, we have 75 in our Shotokan Karate program. We offered our first youth pickleball class, and that had 7 participants between the ages of 8 and 14. Tennis is running strong with 26 participants filling those 3 classes. Hot Shot Sports is at 65 participants, and they did add a new Monday morning class this last session. Tumbling Times classes are doing very well with 159 participants in classes and 30 on the tumbling team. For youth leagues, travel baseball teams are set and they're getting ready to kick off with their winter training program. Girls softball, they just ended here mid-October, and there are no playoffs for girls fall ball. For fall baseball, the fall baseball regular season did end at the beginning of October, and their playoffs were held starting October 14th. Basketball registration is still open until the end of October. Last time I checked numbers, we were at 205 participants for the season. Then tackle football regular season did wrap up. The playoffs actually start this coming weekend, and we do have some teams entering the playoffs. Cheerleading, they had a competition on October 21st. Their next competition is set for November. The fall travel, soccer, rec soccer seasons are going well, and they're set to end October 28th. Audubon Skate Park, they had 7 private lessons in September and 6 for their skateboard workshop. For cultural arts, there's currently 22 private music lessons students. And then we are working on our Matilda Junior production. Those shows are November 10th and 11th. There's 27 in the full cast and 6 rising stars. For dance, enrollments up this season. We're at 364 enrollments compared to 354 last year. And then our Ignite dancers, they have their first convention coming up in early November. Preschool, they just held their curriculum night on October 24th. And then fitness center. So for the month of September, classes went really well. Overall group X participation was at 1,654. Yoga was at 326. Chair yoga at 140. Personal training sessions were at 118 for the month, and there were 465 open gym drop-ins. Fitness did offer a no enrollment for the month of September. That contributed to 141 new members in the month. And then registration is currently open for the Run Fox Run 5K. The museum had a really good month in September. They hosted 129 visitors. 28 for Archaeology Day and 58 for Pioneer Day. That's a 95% increase over last year. Then for October, they had their German American Day on October 7th and cemetery tours on the 14th. For rentals, for the month of September, they were at 81 total rentals this year compared to 43 in 2022. For our Kids Club program, we had 1,990 registrations for the month of September. For special events, we hosted our Pirates Cove Camp Out. We had 32 families, so 128 total guests. For youth and teens, they hosted their second annual tween camp out at Pirates Cove, and they had 12 campers for that event. Upcoming events in November, we have an event at the museum on November 10th, a Parents' Night Out on the 17th, and a murder mystery dinner at Garden Terrace also on the 17th. And that concludes my report.
Any questions or comments? Thank you much. Parks and Planning update, other than Windermere, since we've already been through that. Mark?
So the other big project is Marshall Park. Husky and Landscape is moving along with that. I'd like to be a little bit further, but I would say that about 80% of the walking path around the perimeter has been completed. The struggle right now is really to get the cement and pouring place done, along with the color coding of the basketball court. We feel like there's a lot of significant work that can still happen in the winter, but those are really temperature sensitive. So the pour in place and the color coding are the 2 priorities right now. They're hoping to get that done next week with the couple of days of warm weather that we have forecasted. We've worked with Holiday Water and Sewer to reestablish water to the park. That's currently active. They just need to restore the areas, and then we're working with ComEd right now to get power to the park. The other update that I wanted to say on air was regarding Jensen South. We've had a lot of issues with the flooding in the park that actually is so significant that it's backed into Jensen North. This is a result of everything downstream from us. Everything on our end is functioning as it should, but numerous beaver dams and other obstructions downstream are causing the water to back up. There's numerous agencies that are involved. There's Illinois Tollway, Illinois Department of Transportation, Medina Park District, DuPage County Forest Reserve, DuPage County. We're working with DuPage County right now to help solve some of those issues to get the water to move. We feel like we've made some pretty significant headway in reaching out to DuPage County that identified 3 major beaver dams that they're gonna work on next week to remove, which should help significant water flow in our park. So I understand the residents are frustrated, we're frustrated as well. Hopefully we see some movement as soon as next week.
Okay, any questions or comments? Business services update, Brad Scholes.
Some events at Fox Run. We have the Superintendent's Revenge Tournament tomorrow, or I'm sorry, not tomorrow, Saturday. The Turkey Shoot, which I believe is already sold out on November 11th. Upcoming bands that we'll have out there, November 22nd, Guy Dominic will be playing. And then the eve before the eve, or the eve of the eve, Rob Post Band on December 23rd will be playing. And then Tony Ocean will be playing on December 28th. Yeah, so, and then reminder to the Commissioners Board, the budget meeting is December 7th at 5 o'clock. Should be in your calendars.
Any questions for Brad? Marketing communications, Kelly.
Okay, just a quick follow-up on Tiffany's report. Native American Day is November 4th at the museum from 12:30 to 3:30, and that's a really popular event, and we've had that for many years. So please make sure that all the families make it out for November 4th. Hopefully we'll have a beautiful day at the museum. We just sent out an e-blast to tonight at 6 o'clock, so if we have some more information about Native American Day, as well as a lot of other events and activities happening at the Park District for the rest of the fall, for the rest of this month. We are really hard at work on our new website, which we expect to launch in January. And we just wrapped up our community needs assessment, so at an upcoming meeting, we'll be having our representative at a committee of the whole meeting, Todd Stanton from Public Research Group, will come and do a presentation on our wrap-up of what he found as our community-wide survey. And then in September, hopefully everybody saw the wonderful representation of the Park District at the Hometown Parade. We had 3 floats. We had 2 floats and the senior Sheila Ray bus with some of our members' big faces on there. And it was a little drizzly day, but we had a really nice turnout. A lot of our preschool teachers were there, and we felt a lot of love from the community because we have a lot of Park District fans out there, and so it was really special to connect with them at the parade. With the marketing, we are working on our winter guide. So the winter guide will be delivered to homes the week of November the 19th. And we have winter registration December 4th for residents, and December 11th for non-Elk Grove residents. And aside from that, keep up to date with us on social media. And if you are not receiving our newsletters, make sure that you go to the website and put your email in there. You'll get newsletters. We're doing them twice a month now, so for our general blast. But that's pretty much what I have.
Any questions or comments? Okay, executive director update by our executive director, Ben.
No report.
Any questions for Ben? Sounds good. Old business, any old business? I would just like to say, sometimes I think we're remiss to do this, but as we're winding down to this year, coming off of 2020, 2021, 2022, and jumping into 2023, on behalf of the board, I would like to thank our staff, and I mean every single person, because we went from sitting still at a stoplight to third gear in 2 years, and I think sometimes, I feel like I should say this more often, as board members, we get to see the correspondence and what all happens. There is a ton of stuff that needs to be done behind the scenes to offer the residents what we do. We feel the board and staff works as a team, and we're doing the absolute best we possibly can. But I tell you, if you ever knew how much every person on staff in this Park District does, it's an amazing thing. There's a reason why people move to Elk Grove for Elk Grove Park District. And I can tell you, these 5 guys or 5 gentlemen, whoever sits in our chairs in the future, we do a lot. But it doesn't happen without all of you. So thank you for that. I hope we have another solid year, 2023. I think, Ben, would you say was our busiest year, or 2023 was our busiest year in how many years? Like just overall?
Pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for that. Any new business? Hearing none, we're at payment of the bills. September 29th, 2023, in the amount of $140,341.87. October 6th, 2023, in the amount of $400,789.22. October 10th, 2023, P cards in the amount of $183,999.89. October 13th, $42,306.43. And October 20th, 2023, in the amount of $56,261.97.
So,
Oh, thank you.
Second?
Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
President Waltz?
Yes. I need a motion and a second to, hold on a second. We're gonna have to move back in the committee of the whole, right?
Yeah.
For capital meeting, so I would need a motion.
You gotta adjourn, or adjournment.
I'll adjourn this,
And then just reconvene.
then we can reconvene like we usually. Okay, so yes, I'm sorry. Motion and a second to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes, Francis.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
President Waltz?
Yes. Thank you all.